to go.
Cool. Hello, everybody. How are you?
Very good, Matthew.
Yeah,
Thanks,
good.
Matthew.
Pleasure seeing you all. So just wanted to go over pretty much everything that Paul was saying and put out into the group there. Me and Manik are pretty much specialized when it comes to projects and pretty much selling projects only. When it comes to the normal residential places, things like that, to us, it's the same effort, if not more. And you get paid 15,000 instead of 60 to 70,000. When it comes to how we kind of do things as well, we do like to have a bit of back and forth. It's not just listening to us. What are your current experiences when it comes to the market? How you guys are doing things at the moment? What are some of the issues that you guys are actually facing? No issues?
Maybe I can start from myself. My name is Farzad Matthew. I'm the agent in New South Wales, in Sydney.
We were actually trying to make a exact time with you. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. Exact time.
Beautiful. No, Manik mentioned quite a few things for us, because what we want to do, and this we've actually touched on in the past, and we actually spoke to a developer yesterday we've got a meeting at 1 o'clock with him. So Farzad, he's actually giving us a whole bunch of Queensland projects, which we'll share with you after as well. And then we'll pretty much get an idea of exactly what you want and how we can help you and how we all fit in together.
Yes.
And yeah, because you're based in Queensland, is that correct?
No, sorry. I'm based in New South Wales, Sydney.
New South Wales. Sorry, he's also giving us a whole bunch of projects in New South Wales.
Oh, perfect. Yes.
Quite big.
Yes.
So we can talk about that after, but we'll go over
Sure.
Yeah. Have you had much experience when it comes to the project selling?
Yes, of course. So basically, I joined to the real estate market basically 2019, and one of the company I work basically they're more focusing for project selling in Southwest in Sydney. Is close to New Airport, Western Airport. So basically, in that time, we only sell house and land package. So my target was to do because I'm in my background, I'm Iranian as well. I'm Iranian who came to Australia as international student. So I'm more focusing for my target because Iranian people who live in Sydney, and my promotional strategy was seminar basically. So after 4 or 5 months, I studied about the market, about the details from about the webinar, seminar. So then I invite all of the Farsi speaking who live in Sydney to come to my seminar. There are 90 people come to my seminar. At the end, we have 20 appointments, and then we sold around 10 packages for 2019. So and then my Facebook page, I'm talking about the market in Farsi languages. So basically, I generate the leads from everywhere, from Adelaide, from Melbourne, just contacting me. They're looking to buy property, investment, everywhere. So I'm not just rely to get the inquiry from domain real estate. Basically, I'm doing the personal branding as well in my website, in my Facebook page. That's why people that follow me, they know me. Okay, I'm good about that area. Because in project marketing, the project selling, basically, I think 60%, 70% is more investment. So you have to tell about the numbers, that numbers is work for you for return and everything compared to residential stuff. So that's why it's a different. So I'm more focusing about it, more details now, and telling them about and make them trust basically how the process is working, how we can support you guys. Yeah.
No, beautiful. Yeah. With us, we do things a little bit differently, which is also okay.
Yeah.
We aim to, let's just say that we have you, Chris, as our client.
Yes.
The first thing we're going to ask is, okay, what's your budget? What are you looking for? What areas you're open to? And then we're actually going to shortlist 3 apartments in every building that kind of fit into what he wants.
Yeah.
Right. And then we're going to send the building profile as well as the floor plans and pricing of those 3 apartments or townhouses, whatever it may be, in those areas, and send it to it.
Yeah.
Right. Then what we do is we follow up, and he might go, look, I hate these two buildings, I like these two buildings,
Yeah.
and we just set up inspections.
Yes.
We never go, this is, you inquired about South Melbourne, for example, here's our Iconics, this is the project for you. We always try and generate as much interest by showing them 3 or 4 different projects at the same time.
Sure.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because
Basically, you
Yeah.
yeah, basically you're offering the whatever client they need, basically whatever they're looking, whatever they need. So then they're offering a couple of good project, what is that building? Yeah, that makes sense.
that's pretty much it.
Yes.
When it comes to what you guys are up to at the moment, is the other people here in Melbourne at the moment, or are they kind of spread out in, Queensland, Sydney, everywhere else?
Hey, Matthew. Oops, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Matthew, it's Adam Hubbard here from Brisbane. I'm actually based in Queensland. I'm not sure if anyone else here is based in Queensland or they're in Melbourne, but yeah, I look after that Brisbane North Side, Moreton Bay area and things like that. So in response to your earlier question about the market at the moment, I'm not sure if others agree, but I feel like the market is getting a little jittery at the moment. A lot of sellers are still expecting premium prices when things are starting to sort of taper off because of the interest rates and things like that. So that's kind of what I'm seeing out there at the moment. However, Queensland is still doing very well, still a lot of buyers out there. So that's kind of the way I sort of feel it's going on at the moment.
Mhm.
Me personally, I do a little bit of property development and subdivisions and things like that. So I've got a little bit of insight into some of the property developers and how they think, and it was really impressive to see your seminar the other day and what you guys are up to.
Mhm.
So in relation to the projects, I think I agree with you that a consultative approach is probably the best way, and I do agree with you that projects do seem to make a lot of sense in comparison to the workload that residential does take at the moment. So yeah, so I just thought I'd just say hello because I don't think I've met you before. So yeah.
Hello, Adam. It's a pleasure meeting you as well. And when it comes to we just do everything based on a numbers game. If the average place you're selling is $1 million, people are fighting for 1.5% these days. So 1.5% $1 million property, which used to be, when people got $1 million property, people got excited. They said, "Oh, good, I'm selling $1 million property," but now it's making you 15,000. Whereas we sold one in one of the apartments here. One of the townhouses, $1.1 million townhouse, and that's 5% comms. So anything at $1 million over, you should be earning anywhere between 50 to 60,000, whether it's townhouse or apartments.
Yeah.
And
That's
this is where, and this is where you guys can also turn around and go, you know what? Selling the projects when it comes to apartments, it's not easy as well because there's thousands and thousands of these apartments everywhere. You guys might turn around and go, let's try and get some projects that are townhouse focused. Because then it's kind of when people are looking for townhouses in a certain area, the developer stock is usually quite good because it's nice floor plans, it's good inclusions, it's usually the correct price. And then you'll actually get more inquiries for townhouses in that regard than you will for the apartments. Because the apartments, you have to get very creative on how to get the leads.
Over off the plan,
And this is the thing, and this is what kind of surprised me. There's lots of half projects that are halfway already completed. They're 3 months or 6 months or whatever it is away, that are still being sold through developers to channel agents. So we've maybe got, call it 30 developments that are townhouses that are either finishing in the next 3 months or even next month or 6 months. Those for us are prime developments because the purchasers go, oh, it's only 3 months away. It's already being built. So they feel more safer. And we don't take them to the displays. We just say, we'll organize you a site tour, come and see the actual floor plan, and then we'll talk up the builder and developer ourselves.
Yeah.
It avoids annoying the builder because they never have display homes for smaller projects. And then they can come in. If the purchaser likes the actual floor plan of the place that they're going to see, chances are they'll do it. And then obviously it's about qualifying buyers. When it comes to if they're just starting to look last week, you probably got no hope, even if you showed them the best place in the world. You know, they've just started, they don't get the market, all that kind of stuff. When they're 3 to 6 months into looking, that's when they get there, they go, yes, I want this, or no, I hate this, show me something else. They're a lot more confident about what they're actually looking for.
Yes.
You know?
Matthew, how do you approach it when you're up against aggregators that are out there at the moment, already established and things like that, from a sort of Oxbridge point of view?
So this is where it'll depend on what it is. So if they're looking at established apartments, for example, you know, and if they look at established apartments, they can find 80 square meters for the size of something we're selling at 70 square meters. You know, so the way I do it is I end up putting a lot of doubt in their mind. You know, so I go, look, if you're buying something that's 5 to 10 years old, first of all, the building regulations for cladding was not up to date. As a result, your insurances, your valuations, all that kind of stuff will be highly affected by bad cladding. Okay. The next thing is, look, if you don't want to spend the money on something new, that's okay. But it's the same as buying a brand new car versus something that's secondhand. It might run really nicely for 3 months, and then you find out all these little issues that pop up suddenly. It's because it's secondhand. Here you've got the building warranty or whatever it is for 7 years. You've got the defect period for 3 months. Everything here is to protect you. So yes, you're paying a better rate, but ultimately you're not going to have issues 3, 6 months in the track, right? And then I always tell them personal stories. So I go, you know, myself, and I'm in the industry, right? That's how I say it. I bought a secondhand apartment, a stunning apartment, one of only 15 apartments. And I thought I got it for a really good price because I didn't want to pay a premium amount, right? 6 months, my drains were completely stuffed up. I ended up paying about $60,000 to fix everything. And in the end, if I could reverse time, I would definitely have bought something new, a little bit more expensive, much more luxurious and quality. You know, but of course, that's up to yourself. You can go with the one that might give you issues, or you can go with the one that's not going to give you issues. You know, and when you do things like this as well, it really brings up your professionalism. And they go, even if I don't like this one, Matt, what else do you have to show me? You've been open and honest, you know, and so there's no pushing, but it's just using subliminal things to push them into buying something new rather than something old. You know,
Basically, just difference between the price and cost. Basically, people are just only focusing about the price, but don't consider about the cost, how much the cost would be during the 6 months or 1 year, because that property you bought it before is cost you more than 60,000 or 100,000 at the end. But if you pay more, a little 40,000 to buy brand new, the cost would be much less and too much warranty, or they have a defect report or everything. That's you're saying.
that's exactly it. And they're not going to have issues. There's not going to be
Yes.
anything that happens that they have to pay for. And that's
Yeah.
why I use the car analogy, because people really understand when you buy a old car, for the first 3 months, it runs fine. You go, oh, there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with the car. And then suddenly there's something wrong with it. Whereas with a brand new car, you got the warranty for 2 years or whatever it is, but you're paying 20,000 extra.
Yes.
You know, so that's the difference. And the
Yes.
car analogy really works with people because they can really connect with that. And a lot of them go, oh, you're 100% correct. And then it brings them over to your side. And I'll tell them, even on the phone, guys, I booked you in for this inspection. If you don't like it, don't be afraid to tell me. I've got 3,000 others. My job here is to really connect you to the right property. So be honest, because the more I understand about what you want, the better. Because then I can go, okay, this is something that I missed the mark on. You're actually looking for this, this, and this. You know, and then you'll get people who go, okay, I'm going to stick with this guy. He's going to show me 5 properties. If you show 3 to 5 properties to the correct qualified buyer, you'll get a sale pretty much every time. Yeah, because they'll go, I hated these 2. Oh, I really like this one. You know, and in saying when it comes to qualifying, never really prejudge. You know, because I found myself doing it last week as well. You know, where I turned around to Manik and I said, she's never going to buy. Don't waste your time on her. And Manik said, no, I'm going to show her the apartment. I may as well. She went in there and no shit, she went and said, this is mine. Thank you, Manik. I finally found the correct one. So I missed the mark entirely. I thought she was a waste of time, but she was someone who was just looking for what she wanted. She knew what she wanted and she found it and took it straight away. So sometimes you do miss the mark on prejudging.
I think the thing is, Matthew, on that one is to never assume what how much money people have got or what they're looking for. Just about asking more questions and things like that. But one of my questions was more around actually convincing the developers themselves on the projects, on convincing them about using you instead of their current ways in which they sell at the moment. Because a lot of them use specific project management companies and aggregators and things like that. So are you just sort of leveraging off your own existing projects, or are you, obviously trying to get out to developers and speak to and bring on new projects?
So I get out to developers all the time. I've pretty much made a script which is very, very simple. I'll turn around and even if I don't have that project in the area, I'll look up 2 projects and I'll go, okay, this project in Queensland is called this is called this. I'll call one of those projects and I'll literally say, hey guys, I've got the other project here in this area. We've currently had 45 people through it. We've had a few sales, but these other 35, 40 people are still actively looking. Can you send me over a stock list and some information so that I can send it to them? Because what that does is it goes, okay, this guy has the other project already, not my project. He's currently got 35, 40 buyers. Right? They're looking for the same area, same type of budget. And then from there, once I get the information, then I can do what I want. Because they're very unlikely that they're going to call you in a week or so and go, oh, what happened to your buyers? They got too much stuff on to even remember. And you can always say, look, I'm getting it out to them. I've got it out to people. Now I'm waiting for their feedback. The aim of the game is to go, I have current buyers that are looking in your area. Give it to me. And the way to kind of make that real, so to speak, is by going, I'm selling that other project, or I've got a friend who's selling it, or whatever it is. My dad's an accountant and owns an accounting firm. He's, gives me 20 leads a day. He's told me that he has leads for this area. Please give it. So as long as you can kind of prove to them, hey, I've got something that's getting me leads in this area, I can sell it, then they'll give it to you, But don't approach them and go, hey, I'm a real estate agent. I was just wondering if I could sell this as well, in a general listing. Then they go, why am I giving it to you? You're just another agent. I don't know if you have leads. I don't know how you're going to advertise, what's going on. So it gives them an excuse to go, yeah, sure, here you go. And it's a bit of a point of difference because every other agent is going, can I just have your listing? This is going, I've got existing buyers, give it to me.
Yeah. And so that's a really good strategy. So once you get that list and you do indeed bring them a buyer, do you then approach the Form 6 conversation at that point? And if you do you just, I assume it would probably be an open listing? Yeah.
So all pretty much open listings. You have to remember the average agent is pretty crap. Like when it comes to it, they struggle to do this kind of stuff, and it's not easy. So crap isn't the right word, sorry, because it's not an easy thing to do. But at the same time, first thing is to get that information. Once you have a lead or anybody who wants to see that property, you call the developer or whoever's your main point of contact, and you turn around and say, look, I got someone who wants to see it. Now, I haven't signed an agreement yet. Please send that agreement over. When are you available to actually see this client? Are you available weekends, weekdays? What day is better for me to set it up? From there, always, a lot of the developers, once you do that, they'll send you over an agreement straight away, but they'll also ask you to register your client. And it's really good when they say register your client, because what it does is it protects you, right? If you, Adam, for example, register this client, and then that client is a bit of a smart ass and calls me and go, hey, do you have this property as well? And tries to get us to reduce our commissions for the price, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
I'll call the developer and the developer will go, no, that client is already with Adam. You can't book him in.
Right. Yep. No, good strategy.
That's it. So it keeps you safe. And that way you can get your full 5 or 6% or 8%, whatever it is. But that's kind of how you want to protect yourselves, but get as many listings as possible. If you only have one of these projects, you're not going to make much money. If you have 50 or 60 of these projects, that's when suddenly this project doesn't work. You're using this project instead. And that's when it gets a lot easier because you have a lot more choices to actually send to people.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we've done it. If we had 1 or 2 projects, we'd be stuffed.
Yeah. No, sounds good.
Yeah. Any questions, by the way, guys?
I have one question, Matthew. So especially in this market right now, because the construction price is going up, and especially maybe it's too hard to sell the off the plan project or even the project for house and land, especially for long-term settlements, because we don't have any control for the construction price, or maybe developer or builder, they're gonna increase the price. So what do you basically, how we can handle that kind of the objection from the buyer? Okay, is it a good time to buy right now, or what going to be issue is going to be happening next couple of months or long-term settlement?
Look, and this is what I say to them every time. I say we at Ashbridge, we pride ourselves on finding the correct developers and builders. We know that these guys are cashed up, they're well financed, they're definitely going to finish on time. So when it comes to it, the house and land packages, yes, they are harder. Especially during this market now, the house and land packages are a lot harder. A lot of people have lost confidence when it comes to the house and land packages. But off the plan apartments, off the plan stuff is still selling, right? But that's why I do like to get the projects that are halfway completed or have started construction at least, because then I can turn around to people and go, no, they've started the construction. It's something that will definitely finish. It's a lot harder to say that for something that hasn't started construction yet. So I think we've sold, out of all the properties we've sold, it's maybe 2 properties of that they're properties that are finishing in 2024 or late 2023. A majority of our sales, like 95%, are all things that have already started, finishing in 9 to 10 months maximum, because clients really go, it's already started. I can turn around to them and go, they've already started, the base frame is already up, all that kind of stuff. It's definitely finishing. The developments you should be worried about are the ones that haven't started. And it makes sense to the buyer as well. So they go, you're right, it has started. We've gone past the site ourselves. We can see that they're doing stuff.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So
If somebody asks you, is it a good time to buy right now? Or so what do you think?
If it's a good look, if someone goes, it's a good time to buy now, I said the best time would have been to buy 15 years ago. And before that would have been 25 years ago. Because in terms of property, it's not going to go down. It might go like this, a little bit down and then straight up, a little bit down, straight up. You're going to lose money by waiting. If you bought 3 years ago or 5 years ago, you would have saved your money. So the only thing you're going to be doing, and if you look at the property in Australia, say that the average suburb goes up by 8%. If you're saving 6% by buying now instead of in a year and a half or a year, that's 50, 60,000.
Yes.
So the option important thing to buy is now.
Of course,
because you should have bought 5 years ago. You didn't for whatever reason. And maybe it was because back then they said the interest rates were going to rise and the property market was going to fall, and everybody listened to them because they say that every 5 years.
That totally makes sense, yeah.
So people go, oh, he's right. They've said this 5 years ago. They said this 3 years ago. They said this 10 years ago. Right? In COVID, Sydney went up by 30%.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So people are saying that the market is going to fall. They're crazy because there's so much space in Australia to actually build. The construction as well in Australia, from the government point of view, is not going to go anywhere because it supplies a good portion of jobs. So they want to keep doing these subdivisions. They want to keep building all this kind of stuff because it's a hell of a lot of our jobs. The real estate industry in Australia because of our banking system, our government, all that kind of stuff, it's very strong. You know, we've even had people who are investing from Hong Kong, Kenya, America. They're all starting to invest and buy here again. You know, which surprised me that it was at this stage instead of a year, but that's what they're suddenly doing again.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thanks, Matthew.
Yeah,
Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Venkat. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you?
Good. What's been happening?
Just a question. At what stage do you register your leads with the developer or the master agent?
As soon as I get any inquiry, even before I know if they're interested or not. Because
so even before you send some material to them, or at the time of sending, you start straight away register them.
as I'm sending the information, I send 2 emails. I send one to register and one for the actual information. And the reason for that is I used to not do it. I used to go, you know what, once they want an inspection, then I'll register them because I don't want to waste anybody's time. And I want to make sure these guys are interested. And then it happened a few times where these guys, I'd register, and then the person would come back to me and go, oh, Matthew, you've just missed it. They registered with another agent 2 hours ago.
Yeah.
You know, so they don't care about the time it takes to register a client because it's just they enter it into their database. Matt Gordon is registered to Adam. And that's it. And then whenever somebody else registers me, they'll look up my name. And I don't give the developers all the information either. I give them a first and last name, an email address, and half a mobile number. Right? Because
Off the mobile number. Okay.
yeah, the first
Numbers ending. Okay.
Well, first 4 digits, and then XXX, and then last 3 digits. Reason I do that is I don't trust them or anyone.
Yeah.
Most of them are really good.
Yeah.
Out of the 50 developers that we've dealt with, we've had 2 bad developers. You know, most of them are men of their words. They honor what they say, all that kind of stuff. But occasionally you get people who don't. You know? Yeah. And look, if you give them an email address plus first and last name and half a number, that's enough anyway. You know?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
How do you manage the leads? Do you solely get through domain or through Oxbridge listing, or do you
In terms of leads, I go to a whole bunch of different people. My first 4 months of this job was literally approaching hundreds and hundreds of financial planners, brokers, all those kind of people, and build a dream for them. So I'd literally go, look, guys, I'm making an average of $40,000 a sale. I will give you 20%. You give me a person, I will give you 20% of the commission. You know, now what that does is, let's say they're 40,000, you're giving them 20% of the commission, it's $6,000. You know, so if you give me 1 client a month, it's an extra $60,000 a year, or 70,000. If you give me 2, it's an extra $150,000 a year for you. You guys don't need to do anything.
Yeah. Do you take the clients yourself for the inspection, or do you have some other people taking them to the inspection?
So it's pretty much just me and Manik. But we split it up. One person will be answering all the inquiries, getting on the phone to more referrals, all that kind of stuff. The other person does the actual inspections. You know, so, and the way we do it is, if you guys can book in 10 to 12 inspections per week, you will get your 1 to 4 sales a week, or 1 to 3 sales a week based on those numbers.
Yeah.
And then that's
so basically 20 to 30% conversion.
Yeah. And that's the way I look at it is, if you sell 1 place a week with an average of, call it an average of 35 to 40,000 commission, base it off 35,000, it's $140,000 a month. It's, you know, 1.4, 1.5 mil a year. You know, so everything leads up to doing the numbers in order to get those at least at 1 minimum sale. You know, so everything's a numbers game.
Do you focus only on apartments, or do you have focus on townhouses as well? Townhouses and house and land packages.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, a bit of everything. So townhouses, houses, apartments. Yeah, we even sell shopping centers. But yeah, in terms of listing, anything that makes over 50. Well, when it comes to not project, any normal listing, I do want a commission of at least 50,000. So that's why I take on shopping centers and some retail stuff and things like that. Because if you sell a shopping center for 10 million, you're looking at 150,000 commission. So as long as the commission's there, then the effort will go there, you know? And to be honest, when I first took on a shopping center, I had no clue what the hell I was doing. Right? I had no clue about leasing or this or this. I was just bluffing, right? It's just give me the listing. Once I've got the listing of 10 mil, I will learn. And on the first listing, I completely screwed it, but I learned from it. You know, so that's pretty much how it is. So that's pretty much it. You just want to get as many projects as you can and cast out your web as far as possible. Yeah. I've stopped fighting for the listings. You know, like even when it comes to like Turak's a very good area in Melbourne. And I went to a listing thing. This guy wanted me to work with another agent to sell it. If it was me 6 months, a year ago, I would have said, sure thing, no problem. You know, I just want the listing. But now I turned around to him and I said, you know what, he's had your property for 6 months. When he can't sell it in another 3 months, you come back to me. So in another 3 months, when it's still not sold, he's going to come back to me and I'm going to get the full comms instead of splitting, doing all the work. And then this guy gets half the commission. You know?
So did you want the exclusive or how it is?
For those kind of projects, yes, because it's just a normal house. You know, it's worth about 7 mil. But the point is that you've got to be strong. People actually respect the strong agents that go, no, I'm not doing this. When you want to do it properly, let me know. You know, and at the start, I wasn't like this. You know, I'd go to listing presentations. Owner wants 1.2 million. It's worth $1 million. I used to tell them, I'll get you that 1.2 million, no problem. Give it to me. I just want it. You know, and in the end, all I was doing was wasting my time, right?
Yeah,
and then
competing with the other agents. Yeah.
That's it. The next agent that comes in goes, no, I'll get you $1 million. It's worth $1 million. And the owners learned the mistake from my time, my effort, my energy, and going to sell for $1 million with another agent because I educated him.
Yeah, good.
So just
going through that experience. Yeah, gone through that experience anyways.
Look, and it's a tough experience because you really want to sell it. You know, in the end, we all just want to sell. But it's just, for me, it's just a numbers game. It's why I like the projects as well. Because I'm not just getting one listing. In the end, like I had one of the developers, there was a bit of a screw up with the registration, right? And so then we had to share our comms because, you know, nobody told us it was already registered and we sold it, you know? And so they turned around to us and they said, we'll give you 10 apartments exclusively to you. We turned around and said, it doesn't make a difference to us. That's not something that helps us in any way. We're currently selling 150 of these apartments. So why does it matter if we have these 5 exclusive? It doesn't change anything for us because we have 150. The options we are going to send these people are probably not going to be these 5. It's going to be a different apartment within the building that's better value. So having the exclusivity for these projects means nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the difference as well. Someone might want east facing versus west facing, whatever it is. Yeah. But yeah, that's why I really like townhouses, as well as the apartments. But townhouses off the plan, things that are just starting, they're really good. You know, and there's different websites that you can use to find it. Like I'm using one at the moment. It's urban.com.au. Now that's, although it's never updated, so you do go through a lot of crap where you call up these developers and they go, that was 6 years ago. It's already sold. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. But other times you'll get a good developer who's gone, oh, that project is just sold, but I've got another 3. You know, that's where the script comes in. I've already got 40 clients. I've got a database of 5,000 people. Actively looking in this area is about 150. You know, so I can sell it. So you give them these numbers so that they go, oh, he's giving me specific numbers. There must be some truth to it. You know, even if there's not, the aim of the game is to get the listing.
Yeah.
You know, get that information, send it out to people, cast a wide web.
It's so true, Matthew, what you're saying there as well, because the example you said before about the residential listings, that's happened to me before, where you conditioned and conditioned and conditioned, and then some other guy swooped in and got them to reduce the thing by 30 grand, and suddenly you've lost it. So I couldn't agree more with what you're saying there, for sure. Now, just a quick question as well. With the commissions and things like that, do you set it up so if you do have a buyer and they do want to go, do you stipulate getting your commission unconditional once it's unconditional, or at settlement, or how do you do that?
Or off the plan, I require us to get paid on unconditional and deposit paid. So that you'll usually get paid 50% of. So if they owe you 50,000, you'll get paid 25,000 up front. And then depending on the project, some go in 6 months when it's reached a certain stage, we'll pay you then. Others go on completion, you get paid your other 50%. You know, it really just depends. Completed stock, it's always on settlement or on unconditional and deposit paid. I'll issue you my invoice. Then once it goes on settlement, then you'll receive it, you know, either on settlement or within 2 weeks after settlement. So yeah, you always have to, it's a pain because there's a lot of times where you do have to chase up your own payments, you know, where it should have been paid last week. And then you got to call and go, hey, what the hell's going on? It should have been paid last week. I used to be incredibly nice. I used to be scared to say, hey, with all due respect, fuck you. You should have paid me 3 weeks ago and you guys haven't still paid me. You know, and then when I started to tell them that kind of stuff, they said, oh crap, okay, we'll pay you next week. Yeah. Whereas when I was really nice and afraid of losing the business, they turn around and say, yeah, we'll pay you next payment run in a month and a half.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it sounds reasonable.
Yeah. And what we found as well is, of course, when you first get their listing, right, they're just going to give it to you, all that kind of stuff, but have no real faith. When you set up inspections, even if you don't sell it, they turn around and go, this guy's booked in 5 inspections. He's going to get a sale very soon. Help this guy with whatever he needs. You know, the developers want to sell just as much as we do. Yeah. So if there's any questions, things like that, you can ask the developers. Say, I want you there for the first 2-3 meetings to go through the display with my buyer and me.
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea to go through the developer because they might have little tips and tricks or things that you don't know Yeah.
100%. In terms of this, I'll get to half of these projects. I know nothing about these projects. You know, so for me to explain it to a buyer when I haven't sat down and watched someone explain it to buyers 2 or 3 times, the buyer's going to pick up on it. You know, so, and this has happened a few times. It really helps. I turn around to the developer and I go, look, I'm getting a really good buyer there. Can you make sure someone is there next week? The commissions are 6%. I'll lower my commission 1%. Can you guys run the display through? You know, and then you have someone there who goes, I know the project 150%. This is the view lines you're getting. This is what's happening here. This is, you know, how big the place is, the quality, all that kind of stuff. And all you're doing is going from earning $50,000 commission to $44,000 commission. But you got a much, much stronger presentation that can actually close it.
Yeah. Yeah. And how are you with your overseas buyers? Obviously, they're not in the country for open homes or inspections. How are you treating those, or are they just overseas and just buying?
No. So in terms of that, very few of them will just buy, unfortunately. What I do is I always put in the subliminal fear of loss. Right. So if they're from Hong Kong, I go, oh, Hong Kong, we've actually had 4 people in Hong Kong that are looking at this at the moment. You guys are incredibly switched on. It's a good development. So straight away, they kind of wanted more. But then I go, look, what we're going to do is we're going to have a Zoom or WhatsApp online inspection for you. I'll run you through the whole display or the townhouse or whatever it is. From there, if you do like it, put in a $2,000 reserve, right? That will take the property off the market while you have your 10,000 questions, while you ask whatever you want, and we'll go from there. Because
so it's online. Basically, you're taking them through on your phone at the end of the day. Yeah, just through WhatsApp or something like that.
That's it. And the aim of the game with all of this is to get the reserve, right? Because out of 5 people who reserve, you'll have 1 cancellation. The others, when they reserve it, will all go through. You know, that's why the reserve will really tell you who's actually into it and who's not.
Yeah.
You know, we've had people who say, "I love it. I'm gonna reserve it in 2 hours." Then they stop answering our calls, all that kind of stuff. And other people who we thought hated it, and then who pay the reserve an hour later and go, "Hey, I'm buying it."
Yeah.
You know, so the reserve will tell you exactly who's interested and who's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
good info, Matthew. Thanks for that.
Pleasure, guys. Any other questions?
Hi, Matthew. Somya here. How are you going?
Hey, buddy. Good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Just one more question. Do you offer any cashback or anything, any incentive to the buyers as well, apart from your referral and mortgage advisor? Or yeah.
It really depends on the actual buyer. You know, okay. So if he's someone who's serious, who's going, "Look, I want to buy this today, but I want $10,000 off."
Mm-hmm.
I'll turn around to him. I will be completely honest with him. I'll go, well, not completely, but I'll say, I'm earning $25,000 for this commission. I will reduce my commission by $10,000 right now, but everything has to be done within 3 days.
Yep.
Right. So I'll send you the contract. I'll send you everything you need to sign. I will give you a rebate form from Oxbridge Property saying that on settlement or when I get my commission, you will get $10,000 back.
Yep. Okay.
It puts the only way that I'm ever going to lower my commission is if they do it quickly.
Quick one. Yep.
Yeah. Because then it's done and dusted. I'm still earning good money, but it's never going to be $30,000-$40,000 off.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
$1,000 off. Even for the ones that I'm earning $100,000 off, I'm not giving them $50,000. Right? Because and this really, really taught me something. When I did that once, the buyer, the reason he didn't buy is he said the house must not be worth it. If you're giving me that much off, the house can't be worth it.
Yes,
you know, and it really taught me. I could have given him 10, 20,000. That's it.
Yep. And one more thing, what projects coming for the Queensland, as you mentioned, and how do we get access to that?
Yeah, so in terms of that, now, Oxbridge does have quite a few developments in Queensland already that you can get off the Arcanite app thingy. But we'll be getting some more today. We're just going to have a meeting with him at 1:30. You know, so for anybody who kind of wants that kind of stuff, just send me an email. And yeah, from there, we're probably going to pick 1 or 2 people in other states that we can really work with. Okay. And what that kind of means is we'll set up when it comes to the leads, things like that. We'll manage the lead generation because that's usually the hardest part, so to speak. But then we'll go, okay, Adam, for example, in Sydney, your job is, and we'll see, me and Manik are incredibly transparent. So when we send something out to a client, the person who's helping us, they're going to be CC'd in on every email. You know, they know what we've told to the client. They know what apartments or townhouses they're interested in. And then we'll set up inspections. The person there will go to the actual inspection with the client, give us feedback.
Yes.
You guys might turn around to us and go, they're very interested, send them a reservation form. We'll send them a reservation form. We'll do the contracts with them. We'll do all that kind of stuff. We just need someone who is going to learn the 4 or 5 projects, whatever it is, do the inspections, and then we do the rest. You know, everything is very transparent. When we get paid, we're not going to wait 2 weeks or 3 weeks to pay anybody. Right? It's going to be paid straight away. Everything's paid. The more you guys earn, the happier you guys are to sell with us, and the more we sell. You know, it's happened with me with you know, a few projects where I've been promised pay here, it doesn't happen, and then I get very sour. I go, you know what's tough for you? Even if I have a buyer that wants to buy your place, I'm not going to give it to you now because I'm not going to get paid for 3 months.
Yes.
So it's that's why we set it up like that. You know? So yeah, pretty much we just want to widen our web, so to speak. Yeah, Melbourne we've pretty much gotten taken care of. But Sydney, Gold Coast, other areas in Melbourne, we want to really grab it because we can lead gen. We should be able to get, for example, Sydney. If we do the correct thing, we'll probably be able to get 10 leads a day for it. You know, that's call it 70 or 50 a week. Having those 50 leads a week, we will be able to get 1 to 3 sales there. You know, so it's just about doing the whole thing again in another state, getting the level of inquiries and the projects again. You know, so I can grab 20 different projects in each state. I just stopped myself because I haven't wanted to overextend, and then when it comes to sorting things out, then I haven't got someone there who's doing the opens, and you know, kind of just falls apart. Yeah.
That sounds really good. Sounds really good, Matthew. What's your email address, Matthew?
Yeah, it's I'll write it here actually.
Sorry, what was that?
So I'm just going to write it in chat.
Oh, right.
It's just matthew@oxbridge.com.au.
It's the one on the website.
Yeah, so we do have a website as well. But yeah, it's pretty generic. To be honest, we haven't had many hits or anything from the website. We're not even sure if people use it. You know?
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah.
It's so true about websites. You set up a website and some people think that all these leads are just going to come through it, but without some serious investment into it, it doesn't happen, unfortunately.
That's exactly. We try a lot when it comes to Facebook leads, things like that, and we just can't hit the mark with Facebook. You know, we do get some leads there, and I don't know if it's just something we're doing wrong, but we get some leads, but then it's all people who are dreaming. You know, they want $1 million place for 600,000. You know, like things like that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, and that's why if you set up 3 months to go and talk to 100 financial planners, 100 brokers, right? And one of those brokers gives you 1 lead a week out of those 100 brokers. Then the law of averages will be that you'll get 10, 15 leads a week from all the brokers who are working together. You know, and then you'll get some really switched on brokers who go, holy crap, I can make a lot of money just by passing it through this guy. You know, so I've got one broker who he's a part-time broker, part-time policeman. And he literally messages me about 15 times a day going, here's leads, here's leads, here's leads. Because he knows if I just sell to two of them a week, he gets very wealthy and I do all the work. You know, yep.
So you say he's a policeman?
Yeah, he's a part-time policeman and a part-time broker.
I know where he gets his leads from.
Yeah. Well, look, they're all police buddies of his, pretty much.
You're over the limit. Give me your name and address and buy a property.
That's it. Give it to that. But yeah. So it's been an interesting run, but just get as many people giving you leads as possible, and just build up that dream for them. You know, I get 1 sale a week from you, or even 1 sale a month. It's going to be 10, 15,000 a month. It's 150,000 a year. It's probably more than they're currently earning. You know, yeah. But yeah, any other questions, guys?
Hi, Matthew. I'm from Melbourne. Do you have any place to work with you?
Yeah, so in terms of that, we're actually, because what we're doing with Melbourne, and this is to make sure that everybody can get fed, so to speak, right? Because we need to achieve X amount of leads every day in order for people to actually get wealthy. Right. So if we have, call it 25 leads a day in Melbourne, right? So what we need to do, which is what we're working on with our marketing guy and all that, we're actually investing some serious money into it. We want to increase that to what it was 6 months ago, which is back to 40. Right? Because then I can go, hey, Venkat, here's 10 to 15 leads. We'll set up everything for you, all that kind of stuff, and you do well as well.
Yeah.
The last thing we want is to take on someone in Melbourne, for example, and go, hey, Venkat, here's 2 leads. And then you turn around and go, oh, well, one of those leads couldn't afford it, and the other one's looking for something in 6 months. It's not fair to you guys. So we want to make sure that we have everything set up correctly so that we can go, Venkat, here's 10 leads. Whatever they're talking about, give me a summary. I'll give them properties. I'll teach you how to send all these properties, things like that. Last thing we want to do is not have the amount of leads for people. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. So in about a month and a half to 2 months, yes, we can actually add people to the Melbourne team, right? The reason why it'll be easier in Sydney, Gold Coast, things like that is I've already set up a referral network in those areas, but I just haven't used it because I haven't got people. So if I was selling there as well, then it'd start to be an issue because then we go, okay, we've got 10 leads, he's got 3 leads. It's just not fair to you guys. And then it gets to the other perspective of if we're only getting 10 leads here, and I give you 5, then suddenly everybody's income is halved because we haven't got the amount of leads needed.
Yeah.
So, and Venkat, I'd rather be honest and open about that kind of stuff than not and say, yeah, I promise you guys the world, and then suddenly it's not there. And I'd rather do it in a bit more structured way so that in 2 months I can turn around to you and go, okay, here's 10 leads a day. Let's go and smash it. So that's kind of how me and Manik are. We're very transparent, very open, but the market lead generation needs to be there.
So maybe a fly in and fly out arrangement will be good in that case.
Look, and this is the other end. If you turn around and go, hey, I've got 2 clients. They're looking at apartments in the city. Can you send me some options? That's when we'll turn around and go, here's the really good options. Let's work something out. So we don't mind helping people at all. But for me to make sure that you can join the team in a constructive and proper way, we need the lead generation correct. So we actually just paid someone X amount of money he's apparently a marketing genius. So we'll see. But he's promised us about an extra 20 to 30 leads a day. But it's going to take me about a month and a half to actually set up. So if you give me about a month and a half, then that's a good timing for someone to actually come and join the actual Melbourne team. Sydney, yeah.
Currently, I started my own marketing. Just in case now, if there is anything comes up, if you let me know, that's good. And also, like, what kind of share you are thinking in case now if we work together as a team?
Of course. So that also just depends on the level of involvement, right? Because if I get someone who goes, I'm just going to give you leads, for example, and you do everything, right? I go, sure, that's 30%. Okay. And then we override the costs. We do everything. Probably takes about 10 hours per sale, roughly. When it comes to if you guys go, I want the listings, I want the lead generation, all that kind of stuff, then it'll go in stages. First 2 sales is 30%, then after that it's 40%. Because first 2 sales, a lot of people, they use a lot of our time when it comes to pretty much closing everything. So as long as people are making money, we don't mind going, okay, now we actually know that you know what you're doing, here's a bit more. Right? Because for us, it's a numbers game. If we're earning anywhere between 20 to $80,000 per commission. We do that 100 times a year. It's much better than 55 times a year. You know, so we don't mind just going, okay, now you've made this amount, let's up your commission. You know, like I have a referrer who at the start was earning 20%. He's referred me 5 clients. He's up to 35%. And it's just because he refers good clients. We do everything, but now I know that he's referring things constantly, you know? So it just depends on the level of requirement that you need us. Yeah. But any other questions, guys? Okay. So if you guys do have any other questions or anything like that, just feel free to give me a call. And if you're interested in Sydney, Queensland, states like that to actually join, then chuck me an email and we'll arrange time for a call as well. When it comes to yourself, NCAT, we'll have a private chat as well.
Sure. Thanks, Matthew.
And if anybody needs any help with anything, we're here to help. You know, so
I'll send you an email too, Matthew. Just let you know about a couple of things I've got around the place. So yeah, I'll send you an email, mate.
Beautiful. Appreciate it, guys. And it was a pleasure speaking to you all. So
Thanks, mate.
thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Matthew.
Thank you, guys.